Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on today's significant day, on World SME Day, and joining for roundtable discussion on enabling SME's growth in present time. Now I invite Dr. Sanjeev Lag, Executive Secretary WASME, on dais. So please do the honor for the introduction.
Thank you, Megha. First of all, I am Dr. Sanjeev Laik, Executive Secretary, WASME. I heartily congratulate all the SMEs across the globe on the occasion of World SME Day 2022. I, on behalf of Honorable President of WASME, Ambassador Dr. K.C. Janki, our Honorable Secretary General Dr. G.P. Agrawal, WASME team, WASME, all the vice presidents over there, and ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Team WASME, I heartily welcome on the special occasion on the World SME Day 2022. I warm welcome all the dignitaries, speakers, and delegates. I am extremely delighted to extend my heartfelt welcome and appreciation to you all on the special occasion of World SME Day. As many of you are aware of that, WASME is the most representative non-profit organization that is promoting SMEs all over world since 1980. To empower SMEs over 4 decades, we have created great synergies with UN organizations, ministries, local government bodies, regional authorities, international linkages, civil societies, SMEs, etc., in both developing and least developing countries across the globe. WASME is the only SME promotion organization that enjoys consultative and observer status with many UN agencies such as UNDO, UNCTAD, UNICITRAL, WIPO, ILO, ECOSOC, UNESCAP, ITC, UNESCO, and many intergovernmental and international organizations. United Nations General Assembly mandated World SME Day in 2017, recognizing the crucial role of micro, small, and medium enterprises which play in achieving the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development Goals. Since then, World SME Day is celebrated world over to recognize, applaud, create awareness of contribution of SMEs to the economy. They are the real engine of growth and contribute significantly every country's GDP. Exports provides employment. Recently, in face of global crisis that emerged due to COVID-19 pandemic, world SMEs have shown great resilience, adaptation, and undying spirit to sustain their business even in such unprecedented challenges. In such difficult times, WASME has again constantly supported SMEs, especially local SMEs, with appropriate information resource to overcome various challenges, be it market, credit, and technology, and help them to transition their business to digital platform. Now, post pandemic, we are focusing on building the SMEs with renewed commitment to integrate SMEs with the achieving the 2030 agenda for sustainable development goals. And this is the most pressing agenda for creating a better and more sustainable future for all. In time to come, we will focus on enabling SMEs to become more competitive, environment friendly, socially responsible, responsive, culturally sensitive, and ethical in their business practices by promoting the SDG agenda in all our activities at all platforms and forums globally. Once again, I welcome all the participants from all over the world who have come here to exchange experience and insightful to further strengthen the cooperation to promote SMEs across the globe. I carry forward to this agenda. I would like to call upon Sri Julur Rahmanji to share his views on the Bangladesh SMEs of Bangladesh and the trade barriers over there. Mr. Rahman, please. Mr.
Thank you.
SM Julur Rahman. He'll be just
Thank you
sharing
very much.
his views on Bangladesh SMEs.
Thank you very much for your kind invitation, and I'm very much happy to be here today. Today is our World SME Day. Who are working for the SMEs, especially for the SMEs. So this is one of the day for which we. This is one milestone for us that we have to say something, we have to get something, we have to inform something. I mean, to communicate across the world about these SMEs for whom we are working, for whom WASME working, for whom our friends who are in the now in our meetings joined with us. So of course, I believe who are now joined with us, everybody they are working for the development of the SMEs. They are always they are supporting. Maybe somebody they cannot support, but they wish to support. So really, this is the day we are very much happy that we are now here, that we are hearing and we are joining. So thank you, Mr. Sanjeev Lai. Oh, you're not hearing well? Is it okay? Audible? Is it okay from my
Yes,
side?
sir. Yes, sir. You are audible, very much audible.
Okay, thank you. Because I got message, maybe I'm not sure. Thank you very much. So regarding our Bangladesh, in our total GDP, 25% contribution is coming from the SMEs. And if you tell about our workforce, what the contribution in our Bangladesh economy, the working population 30% above their contribution in Bangladesh from the SMEs. So as always we say, and we believe, for any country, the SMEs are the backbone for the financial inclusion, for the financial everything of a country, to run the country, to run the economy. So in Bangladesh also the same, like India, like other any country, China or European or American or whatever country, everywhere I think the SMEs, they're the main backbone for the financial, for the circulation of the country. So in Bangladesh, now we can say about the post-pandemic, because in the time of pandemic already we discussed many things. We shared our views about the SMEs from Bangladesh, and also we heard from our different countries friends about the SMEs. So now we should say about our post pandemic. Just yesterday, no, today's 27th, 25th June, our honorable Prime Minister inaugurated our one milestone of the bridge. It is 6.15 kilometer long, and this is one what I can say, this is the largest bridge in the Southeast Asia. Yeah. So from this bridge, because we are working for the SMEs, so we look over our SMEs contribution, and we look how the SMEs will be benefited from this bridge. I can say after this pandemic, now all the SMEs, yes, day by day we are increasing. We are coming in our previous position. The SMEs people, they was getting back their existence, which they lost in the pandemic. And newly from this bridge, this one remarkable development for Bangladesh, our 21 districts who are the SMEs in this country, in these districts, they was not getting so good chain, good network, good transportation, good infrastructure. So from this inauguration, from this bridge, now this 21 district in Bangladesh, the SMEs who are living there, they are very much happy. They are very much happy, as well as we are also happy that yes, our SMEs, our brothers and sisters who are involved in this line of this business, now they can easily get in touch with the city, and not only the city, through the city, our other districts. So now, so really we are very much happy from this our new infrastructure, new development. And SMEs still they are facing, as I told just now, yeah, we are very much happy for this infrastructure development. But what is our barriers? What is our lacking? What we need to support the SMEs? Still the SMEs, I believe, they are facing about the financial support from the government, from the banking side. You see, the largest scale business factories or the companies, they are getting very much help from the banking side, and they have the very much development their paperwork. But on the contrary, the SMEs people and the micro people, they are not getting so support from the banking facilities. And because of sometimes the bank authority, sometimes the other authority, the administrative authority, they're telling about the documentation. So we know who are the higher. They have the every official files, sectors have different. They have the cabinet, they have the staff, they have the everything have the separate. What I can say, the maintenance. But the SMEs people, but among the SMEs also, medium also, yeah, they are something like this. But especially the small and micro, they have not so facilities, and they cannot maintain so documentation, and they cannot, what I can say, they cannot pay the fuel. I can say this, the fuel, uh, to get the facilities wherever they go to, like to submit their facilities, to get the facilities for the loan or for any other supporting. So they have, this is almost in, not only in Bangladesh, I know there are many countries, we know that we have to pay something for something, sometimes some give and take, but these people, they are not so able to pay, so they are depriving. So we many times from Bangladesh, we had meeting with our ministers, we have other stakeholders regarding the SMEs. We always say that please support them without collateral, because the higher people, they have the they have the collateral, they have many things to give the mortgage to the bank or to the full or to the financial institution who give the loan. But this lower type, I mean, small business people, small enterprises or the micro enterprises, they don't have like this. So already it is on discussion, it is on process, and we also discussing to our government authority for without collateral support, without collateral to support the SMEs, as what they're supporting to our national economy, they can support more and they can grow their business more. So we from Bangladesh WASME always working on that, on this, and our WASME, Coalition for SMEs, not only for Bangladesh, we are working for all the countries across the world. And from my country, from my side, I can say I always I talk with my colleagues, my other friends who are the related with our WASME Bangladesh, that we would do things so extra. I mean, what I can say, that this, I mean, something milestone, something that who will come to us to support, to get the support. We will give them the so network as they feel yes they have their guardian, and this is the main thing, because many SMEs, they think they know the guardian, they know have the people to support them, know have to support to guide them. How can they develop their documentation, how can they develop their production, how can they get their meal factories small scale. So with the WASME, already I talked with my colleagues that we will support them. We are their guardian. This is the WASME Bangladesh, we are the guardian. So thank you, Mr. Sanjeev. I not like to take more time. So post pandemic, yes, we are very well, we are developing, and I am very much hopeful our other countries friend, they will be in good position as before the pandemic. I hope they will be in good in better situation in these days. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Rahman, for your valuable thoughts on the Bangladesh SMEs over there. And I would like to just tell you, everybody, that Mr. Julur Rahman, SM Julur Rahman, he is the Vice President of Bangladesh, WASME Bangladesh, and he has been already heading the Bangladesh chapter over there. He's doing means a wonderful job here there to support SMEs, and he'll be the touch bearer for means WASME for across the globe. Thank you, Rahman ji, for your valuable thoughts. Now, I would like to invite our another vice president from Africa, Nigeria, Mr. Dumishani J. Meshibi, Vice President, Africa. So I would like to just invite him to share his thought on the SMEs of the South means Africa and their development and means finance space over there, Finnish space. He is already instrumental to support SMEs, and he is the main player in the financial support. So I just invite Mr. Mitsubishi, Vice President, Africa, WASME Africa. Please, sir, share your thoughts, sir.
Thank you very much. And let me just recognize all distinguished personnel and greetings from Africa. And thank you for inviting us to share our thoughts with the WASME group so far as SMEs in Africa. It's an honor and a privilege to be given such an opportunity. I had prepared a presentation thinking that it's something that can possibly be shared, but I see we don't have permission to share anything. But what I'm going to do is just run through the presentation and what I would have spoken about. Now, maybe as a preamble, to point out that if there is a continent that needs SMEs more than any other continent, as far as I'm concerned, it is Africa. Why is that the case? Africa has a young population, yet at the same time, Africa has a high rate of unemployment. When we speak positively about it, we speak of a demographic dividend. Focus provide the opportunities to the youth to start their own small enterprises. They would first provide employment, self-employment for themselves, but they would also go further and provide employment for others. That is what makes it critical. If Africa does not create the jobs, the much needed jobs by the youth, it is a time bomb. Because at some point, this bomb is going to explode. The youths are going to be frustrated with the structures and the ecosystem. The youths are going to be frustrated with our governments. And that is not what we want. That said, just a bit of background. I represent, or I am engaged in an institution in Swaziland, now called Eswatini, that has been providing finance and other development finance services to SMEs in the past 26 years. We are standing on three key pillars of the mandate. First pillar being access to credit. Second pillar being job creation. And the third pillar being poverty eradication. And that is Eswatini Development Finance Corporation, otherwise known as FinCorp. Now, from time to time, we keep track of whether we are delivering on this mandate domestically. This is a domestic MSME financing organization. We do not go across borders because we're owned by the state, 80% by government and 20% by a private investment company. So we keep track of whether this is achieved. Firstly, we look at access to credit. From inception, we have offered a total of 6.3 billion rands. You will do the translation to SMEs. As I sit here, we are talking of 1.4 billion rands. That is in the hands of citizens who are running their businesses and developing themselves one way or the other. We also, through the SMEs that were financed, support 15,100 jobs, and they are not enough. In Eswatini, the unemployment rate is way above 35%. In Eswatini, 72% of the population represents youths that are between 1 year old up to 35 years. And this is the sector that is hardly hit by unemployment. We also keep track of the poverty alleviation initiatives. We look at our contribution to GDP. We are contributing just above 1 billion rands in terms of contribution to GDP. Now, allow me to get into the discussion for the day, the state of SMEs in finance, SME finance in Africa. I thought I'd just give you a brief case study about the institution that we work for and the extent to which we have been able to deliver on the mandate. The one big paradox about Africa is that the financial services sector in Africa is well developed. It's well vibrant. If you go to South Africa across the border, it's leading. If you go to Nigeria, you'll find that financial services sector is thriving. Now, the question that we have to deal with is to what extent then are SMEs mainstreamed in this thriving financial services? I will disappoint you and tell you to a very limited extent. The advent of electronic and cell phone banking has vastly increased the use of these platforms by MSMEs. But does it lead to financial inclusion? Yes, to the extent of using financial services, but not to the extent of accessing credit to finance their businesses. The truth is, same-sized MSME firms in developing countries and those based in overseas countries, well-developed countries, have better access to credit than African SMEs. And it continues to be a struggle. For example, in South Africa, only 34% of enterprises have formal bank loan. While in Burundi, with a vibrant banking system, only 35% of SMEs have access to loan facilities or have a loan with the bank. And that is not me saying it. A researcher by the name of Thorsten Beck and Robert Kahn made this finding, startling finding. If Africa needs investments in SMEs in order to create the much needed jobs. In Eswatini, only 23% of the SMEs, which are in large numbers, have a loan with a formal financial institution. The question is, if SMEs don't have access to credit, then who do they turn to? Then they turn to loan sharks. They are faced with rates as high as 20% a month. Are they going to thrive? Are they going to succeed? Are they going to be sustainable? Are they going to create jobs? The answer is out there for everybody to see. Now, let's look at the nature of SMEs in Africa. The vast majority of firms around the world fall into the category of micro, small, and medium enterprises, and Africa is not an exception. In terms of enterprises, more than 95% fall in the SME sector of the total enterprises in domestic markets. More than 50% of employees work in companies with fewer than 100 employees, so you would classify them as SMEs. While SMEs constitute an important component of the private sector in the developing world, they more often than not report, or in the developing world, they more often than not report significantly higher obstacles to their operation than large enterprises. Large enterprises have a much better options. The banks scrambling to service corporate companies, but banks will not scramble or fight to finance SMEs. SMEs are left on their own. Research has shown that in many countries, SMEs financial inclusion is still a big challenge. And I think as an organization as WASME, when we focus on Africa, we would want to answer this question. How do we make funding accessible to SMEs? Now, as I draw to a conclusion in the next 3 minutes, Mr. Chairperson, Africa's financial systems are small, shallow, and costly, with limited outreach to SMEs and synonymous with very high interest rates, which are not good for SMEs, I repeat. This is not just reflected in the aggregate financial development indicators, but also in households research data gauging the use of formal financial services, access to financial services. We are talking about financial inclusion. African SMEs, unfortunately, hardly grow in scale and scope. They tend to remain at the same level of operation for many years, and they hardly ever reach self-sustainability in terms of funding. They are continuously looking up for funders to provide funding. The question becomes, how do we push SMEs to a level at which they can begin to raise their own capital by way of retained earnings? Any profits generated by African SMEs and business owners are unfortunately not reinvested in the business, but tend to be used for family pressing needs such as education, shelter, medical bills, and transportation means because of the low level of the returns that they get. Future outlook tends to be narrow at all times among African SMEs. Lack of proper governance practices tend to limit their growth as SMEs. Disruptions relating to prevalent political and social instability in African countries affect SMEs. I can share. Eswatini is currently going through a rough patch. People want democracy. We have had the economic shutdowns. While there was COVID, economic shutdowns, we were experiencing political instability shutdowns. And a lot of our beneficiaries have been affected. Women in town markets are unable to go to the towns to sell their wares in order to make money. And this has caused increased level of bad debts because the people can't go to the towns to operate. Chairperson, I am about to conclude. What are the possible solutions that we should be looking at? We need to scale up project preparation support for SMEs in Africa so that as they approach funding agencies, they come with properly prepared, sound, technically feasible, and financially viable proposals. We also need to scale up business development support and mentorship for SMEs in Africa. SMEs in Africa demand hand-holding for them to succeed. We need to create, and this is very important, we need to create linkages between SMEs and large corporations, large manufacturing companies. SMEs tend to thrive in that ecosystem where they are sheltered under a large corporation to produce items that are required by the large corporate manufacturing concern in their value chain. There is often skills and technology transfer if we allow that. We need to create an enabling environment for SMEs to thrive. Licensing and registration must be made easy. Market penetration must be made possible. Mainstreaming of SMEs in government procurement must be a priority. We must enact citizen empowerment initiatives in Africa. Lastly, there should be considerations to the extent to which we tax SMEs. Let's not tax SMEs to the level of death or non-existence. We need to also create a balance between debt that we provide to SMEs and equity. Oftentimes, SMEs are overly indebted, and there is need to look at quasi-equity as we assist SMEs. Finally, and this is my final point, we have to look at demand and supply issues. What am I referring to? We need to focus on the capacity of the existing institutions to serve SMEs well. We need to focus on the capacity of the client relationship officers in order to be able to serve SMEs well. It would seem to me the people that are sitting in banks, in non-bank financial institutions serving SMEs, they need to be entrepreneurial up there in order to better understand the entrepreneurial needs of the SMEs. Chairperson, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this is where I end my presentation, and thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Mr. Mishivi, for your valuable inputs. You have really raised valuable points to support SMEs of Africa. As you know that SMEs are the backbone of our economy and world's economy also. And 60 to 70% jobs are created by the SMEs. 50% of the exports are being supported by SMEs. So thank you for your precious points that will definitely give insights to other SMEs across globe. So we have another distinguished guest and the esteemed panelist from the Nepal, Mr. Rajendra Malla. He is the Vice President of Nepal, and he has been already supporting Nepal Chamber of Commerce. He is the President of Nepal Chamber of Commerce, and he has been doing a great job for the Nepali SMEs. So I would like to invite Mr. Malla for your valuable thoughts on the Nepal SMEs.
Good afternoon and namaste to all. Dr. K.C. Janke, President WASME, ID Narayan, Vice President WASME, Gyan Prakash Agarwal, Secretary General, distinguished speakers, and office bearers of WASME. It's my pleasure to be here in roundtable discussion on World SMEs Day, and I would like to explain some SME situation here in Nepal and related with natural disaster also in Nepal. So the contribution of small, medium enterprises is very significant towards employment generation, poverty alleviation, and the overall advance of the private sector. And small and medium SMEs also play an important role for mobilizing and the using local resources, raising the income of the rural people and poor people. Ministry of Finance have a data in Nepal that SMEs contribute here in Nepal about 20% of GDP from SME sector in GDP contribution. Same way the employment from SME sector around related to the industrial sector. If we to take SMEs and bigger, middle, 90% are under the SMEs industries in Nepal. And here in Nepal, mostly the employment generation is through SME sector, and which is very much supporting our rural people and also playing very good role. In Nepal, from the industrial sector, we have about 12% contribution in GDP. But among that, 80% from the SME sector paying GDP contribution and also enhancing the technology and the international chain. These days, Nepal also, we are promoting for SME sector to do the trade from online gateway also. We are from chamber sector. We are promoting them to go through online gateway, go to the international market, not only domestic market, because most of the products is produced by SMEs, but there will be some exporter or some middle, so they make high margin from export and import, especially export and import business. So why Chepmar is giving more emphasis to SMEs is, if we connect international gateway directly from through the SMEs, there will not be any broker, and also any SMEs will be benefited. And same way we are approaching government sector, that the US dollar, we are in Nepal, there is some foreign currency is very little bit tight over here. So we are trying to open gateway for receiving directly to SME's account US dollar. I think most probably within a couple of months, the finance ministry and industry ministry also agree that we are promoting SMEs to do direct business in international level. Most of the SMEs in Nepal is involved in processing and manufacturing of food items, consumer items, household goods, textile, and some related to the export products like herbal, gems and jewelry, also rice, balls, oil, meals, dairy products, drinks, noodles, biscuits, so on. Almost this kind of business is operating by SME sector. The other areas also SMEs involved include forest-based industries, wooden and metal handicrafts, same way the woolen carpets, felts, rocks, and the plastic industry, the water industry, mineral water, utilities, also in small and medium hydro sector also in Nepal, because we are in potential country for hydro. The SMEs also in Nepal, they are doing and investing in group in hydro, small hydro sector. They are also growing here in Nepal. And in addition, investment in the modern agro business also, we are requesting our SMEs and to do some organic product and value add product and export to the Europe market gradually. Some, especially in in herbal sector, the processing and exporting is SMEs they are happily doing over here. In the days to come, we feel that the SMEs will make more money from this herbal sector, because we have very much high value herbals here in Nepal in Himalaya range. So now we have almost open system for doing business in Nepal. Almost the SMEs or foreign investment in the small sector or bigger scale, we can do directly. FDI system and remittance system is very much open over here. And if some other our SMEs WASME group would like to join in Nepal, it is already open for the whole. So this also has a good opportunity here in Nepal. The SMEs in Nepal have a capital base, little poor, but their working capacity and their skill is very much valuable. And the same way we are requesting to government and also banking sector to trust SMEs and take collateral, but not in huge. The tolerable collateral also good for them. In the business, definitely we should give some collateral when we do industry or trade. But we are facilitating as a chamber, as a WASME, to SMEs in small sector to not high value collateral, like sometimes personal collateral, one person to another, and also at least if they do some industries, maybe around 50% they give collateral, 50% need to be supported by the government. In this sector, we are playing very vital role in Nepal to promote them, and significantly the SMEs of Nepal are enjoying, and their opportunity also enhancing day by day. There is some challenge also for SMEs in Nepal. Nepal has shifted for potential regime to an market regime. As a result of this shift, barriers to international trade have been removed of substantially reduced here in Nepal these days. The Nepalese FCC have been affected by the change and fit incredibly difficult to compare with international products, especially international products, because we are little landlocked country and our logistic cost is almost higher than other countries. So we are also trying to promote, and in 2026, Nepal also going to obtain from LDC to develop sector. So we are at a landlocked country. We are approaching Europe and the USA side for SMEs to give some benefit as a landlocked country. This chamber and WASME, as a WASME VP, I'm playing vital role for SMEs here in Nepal. Same way, the implementation for SMEs part is gradually, significantly, it is developing day by day, and we are also supporting SMEs to make their own brand and make one logo. Without brand and logo, cannot promote the business. We are giving very much highlight for promote the brand and logo, and also we have some system for SMEs working with chamber and government sector. We call CTEBT. With technical training also, we are provided for them. And if somebody want to get training for any industrial sector, gram, they can go and work, and but the government will pay them salary for 3 months. For the, if even they work for private sector, government will support like that. This regime and thought we put from the WASME Nepal and Nepal Chamber of Commerce. Government is agree. So we are still lack of how to say, skilled manpower. Most of the SMEs, if they get the opportunity to go abroad, like Japan or Korea, or because there are some high salary, sometimes they go to the abroad. This is the problem. Within this, we are also making some industrial state to work when they come back for Nepal, working for international brand also. We are trying to make a village or for like countrywide, Japan gram or some Korea gram. If the Nepalese people learn some from abroad, they can come back and work in Nepal and facilitate the SMEs. Government also give land on lease for 50 years. If some SMEs they want to work here in Nepal and produce and export to other countries. Same way, our almost role of our SMEs is very much significant in private sector, which is very much vital role and establishment of our business activities. Without SMEs, nobody can grow a business here in Nepal, because almost limited company are here in bigger side, but due to India and China, both sides, they are giant country, their mass production, and Nepal cannot beat in a big kind of industry, but in SME side, Nepali handmade, Nepalese product, finishing wise, very good. And I think from Nepalese products and SME side products can encourage Nepalese economy. Same way, also attractive for the international community when they get the Nepalese products from SME side. Will be very much happy and decorative. I think in the days to come, we are compared to last due to COVID, we are little back from SMEs export. Currently, this year we are looking that almost 26% is increasing export from SME side, only for SMEs product. So this we would like to keep update and give more training and days to come. And Nepal Chamber and as a WASME, we definitely also disaster side we are playing vital role in Nepal. When in COVID-19 also, as a WASME Nepal and Nepal Chamber of Commerce, we support SMEs and rural people for the medical support and some equipment, some financial support. We are regularly doing here. Our focus is Chamber. We have three federations here in Nepal for the business association. Nepal Chamber is looking for especially for SMEs and agro sector and women entrepreneur, which is almost 80% of the Nepalese are related in this sector. So in the days to come also, we need to get more information from international side, like from all the this participation view. We want to learn and also not only for virtual, in the days to come, we will gather a meeting in Kathmandu, international level. I think as a WASME, India need to conduct a B2B or face-to-face G2G kind of meeting in the near future. And after India, definitely from Nepal Chamber or WASME Chamber of Nepal, will conduct a kind of international meet and we discuss face-to-face and we exchange our, how to say, SME's product around our countries among the WASME member. We need to promote not only dialogue, we also need to promote each other product, which is done by SMEs. So thank you very much. I get the opportunity to say something about Nepal, and also I like to gather this program in near future. Let's WASME plan properly, and we Nepal side would like to gather a kind of global WASME program. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Malla, for your roadmap for WASME Nepal and WASME India. So this will be valuable thoughts to support SMEs of both the countries. So we are ready to support the Nepalese SMEs on the initiative. We have already initiated the digitization program, the adoption program, the sensitization program. Then other programs already been there, as you have already mentioned. The Mr. Meshibi also mentioned the credit. Credit is also very important. The trade facilitation and other programs we have already initiated. We are already in the pipeline. So definitely we are just looking forward to get associated with the Nepal Chamber of Commerce to empower SMEs of both the countries. Thank you.
Thank you. You too.
So, yeah, taking further, we have got esteemed panel and thought leaders from India, Mr. Sushil Agrawal. Mr. Sushil Agrawal is the senior advisor to WASME and the chairman of Evan Furnishing, and he has been already doing a very important job for Atmanirbhar Bharat, our honorable Prime Minister's vision to empower SMEs of India. Please, sir.
Thank you, sir. Very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. In the interest of time, I'll try to keep it as short as possible, but I've got a couple of lots of things to speak and talk. We all know that we are going through a global pandemic, not just pandemic, but even financial pandemic. There's a recessionary trend across everywhere. It's palpable, understandable. The gloom is in the MSME, and they're the worst hit, not the large corporates. In times of such crisis, how is it that one looks forward to a positive signal? I always believe that these crisis time also bring tough people forward. Tough times create tough people. If that being the case, we have to be actually prepared to take the onslaught of this dynamic change of the geopolitics and geoeconomics that is happening across globe and also in India in terms of direct and indirect taxation as well as legislations and laws which are changing day in and out. And let me remind you, friends, because I'm chairman of CII at this point of time in Western UP, I'm also national president of Furniture Manufacturers Association. I speak and discuss with a lot of people, and I can assure you that our MSME today have no idea, no inkling of the changes that are being rapidly brought in day in and out. They are still living in that myopic world where they believe कि सब चलता है. It's not anymore. कुछ नहीं चलता है. The law prevails, rules prevail, and if you err, you are going to be in dock, and that can jeopardize the whole business itself. If that being the case, what is it that we need to do? I will not talk on the specific of the global MSME forum, but I will speak of something which our industrialists, our entrepreneurs, our friends in the country need to do. And they are, let me tell you, friends, they are starved of information because they only get through newspapers and televisions. They are not privy to the information data that is being given and dished out by the government agencies because it's a big maze. It is not easy for every knowledgeable people also to understand. It takes time for them. So leave it on us. We are a one-man show, one-man army, Lala organization. That is how MSME operates in this country. So I'll quickly go. I have lots of points, and I already shared this entire data sheet with Sanjeev Like sir, because he can forward that entire data sheet to all of you. And I would urge with folded hands that whatever data I have prepared, this I'm talking from the standpoint of the pain points of the MSME that we are going through in the entire country. I'm in touch with more than 9,000 members of the CII across India and almost 3,000 odd members of the entire 7 states and 3 union territories on northern India. So when we collect all the problems and challenges, then we understand what is it that we need to do. So I will just quickly give anecdotes and pointers that these are the pain points that one should be looking at. And I'll quickly rush. It's not in a particular order, but whatever, because I know the time is a little positive, but please allow me in case if I'm overstepping my time limits. I'm not sure whether how many people you are aware of that as a CSR activity, all these large pharmacies have to actually create a program where they give you a medical consultation free of cost on any topic. I can get connected to Dr. Reddy's and such kind of people who will give Zooms and such kind of thing free of cost throughout the year on every topic, right from eyes to the gynae to the ortho to diabetes. You talk of anything, I will get you connected, and it's all free of cost. Not only consultation, discussions, the entire explanations. You must impart this with not only your fraternity friends but also with your employees because they don't know. It takes 1,500 rupees to go to Apollo to get that consultation, and they'll be the experts of that particular field, cherry picked by these pharmacy companies. Okay, as an activity, it is being done, and I've already been doing this for past 2 years. So I'm just letting you this information so that you can actually start inculcating, you start disseminating this information and benefit others. That's the idea. And also, let me tell you that most of the insurance that our people do in general insurance in the factory is done at a depreciated value, which is the biggest fallacy of the history. It doesn't work. You have to do it at the replacement value. Assumably that you bought a machine for 1 crore rupees 20 years back, and today the depreciation value is 10 lakh rupees. You can't do it in 10 lakh rupees. You have to do it at the current market value of 1.25 crore rupees, so that if something goes wrong, if something happens, you get the actual replacement of the asset, not the depreciated, but it will never work for you. This is something which most of our MSME friends are not prepared. They always think it's not an expense. It's a safe investment that will allow you to have a peaceful night. So I think this is something we need to teach and sort of give this information data to them, because I suffered all those things wherever I'm making these objections. And audit of fire. Today, there were days, when you never wanted to have any kind of legislation or rules, fire, NOC, pollution, NOC, these were all thing of the past. But no, it's not anymore. Now it's become the most important thing in case if you want to, there are three-letter words, ESG. Environment, sustainability, and governance. Only those who understand the meaning of these three words will actually sustain and be the future leader. Rest will become history. This I'm assuring you, friends, and this is not coming from any personal emotion. It is coming from the learning and understanding of the entire market. So, if that being the case, audit of fire should be done by all the factory owners to ensure that they're insulated in case of any crisis. And you also have the fire NOCs, which most of the MSMEs don't carry. That's what I'm making this point. Medical insurance of the staff, which comes through ESI. There are various types of facilities that are being given by corporates as a CSR as well as in welfare activity. But the least that we can do is to cover every employee in the ESI scheme. At least they are insulated, they are being taken care of, and that's being done by the best of the hospitals. So my request, and I can also tell you that beside ESIC, even the government I mean the Indian, the private hospitals are also part of the organization, so they support you. So my humble request is that all employees must be brought into the ESI scheme so that they can take benefits of that. Energy audits, we always believe we know everything. I'm so sorry. We don't even know what is the power factor of the factory. Just go and check. If you realize that it's not less than 0.99, you're losing money day in and out. It's a perpetual basis that you'll be losing crores of rupees. So don't do that. Please get your factory's energy audited. Hire an expert. There are a lot of center of excellence, right from CII to various the consultants, experts are there who will give you a great amount of guidance and ideology. And believe me, sir, it really works, and it has worked for me. It has worked for various people. That's why I'm mentioning this. This is something we should. Low cost automation we must certainly deploy, because we're talking of Kaizen, Six Sigma, and lean management, and so on and so forth. But do we really know the meaning of that? Are we really deploying it? We can do that by just doing a low cost automation, which we fail miserably because we feel he's so blind, then he will charge me money. He will also give me a big list of all those equipment that are needed. That is not needed. But what we are failing to understand that we're leaking. We are really daily, we are actually going down in terms of our operational efficiency because of the inefficiency that we built over a period of time. We haven't changed that. So we need that low cost automation to be done. And let me tell you, BIS, Bureau of Indian Standards, is voluntary. It's not mandatory except for some products where it is mandatory. But in case if you get your product BIS certificate where there are codes for every specific product, in that case you can be the first in the industry to say, hello, my product is BIS approved. And it has got a validation. BIS is just not for the heck of being ISO. Just ISO log for just small money. It's not ISO anymore. It's a BIS standard. Believe me, it works, and it will give you an edge in the market when it comes to that. I'd also like to say that you must get your companies audited by great good lawyers and experts from the labor department, because right from POSH, we're talking about sexual harassment to this and that in women employment, etc., etc. This shift by system, this that. When it comes to that worst time, believe me, we are not fully prepared. We don't have the rosters, and we don't have the kind of system where probably employees are being taken care of. So we must get your companies audited by the experts of the industry who can tell you what are the issues and challenges that lacuna that you're doing. Please follow them, because it might cost you little money, but it'll give you a lot of peace of mind in case of the worst that happens. GST audits. We don't even know. Let me tell you, this will be very interesting for you. We believe we are paying input output. We are all aware of the input output. That's okay. But do you know that in the invoices that you should be mentioning the right kind of words that need to be there? And if you're missing on that, when it comes to the audits, you will be subjected to those retrospective taxes which you will not be able to bear, and you'll see, oh my god, I never thought about it. It's just such a small mistake. That small mistake can cost you crores and lakhs depending upon the kind of business that you're doing. And this all these things, if you say, Sushila, why are you saying all these things? We know our business. Yeah, we all know our business. But I have suffered and I've gone through all this process and pain. And I want to share with my fraternity and friends and tell them, all right, you want to grow, but are you ready? Are you future ready? If you're not ready, please look into all these areas and then first prepare yourself to launch yourself to that, the national landscape and the global landscape. And if that being the case, it has nothing to do with my business, but I would certainly say succession planning. Right from the kind of business that you're running, it could be proprietary, partnership, or limited, whatever the case may be, you must have a great succession planning in terms of how and where what happens. Otherwise, believe me, friends, it can jeopardize your entire future, your legacy itself. This is something which is very, very vital and essential too that I'm telling you. Cyber security. You might say, what is cyber security got to do with it? 2 years back, somebody hacked my server and I got the mail that pay so many millions of dollars in bitcoins. Otherwise, thank you very much, Mr. Agarwal. And I checked all my data, every record for 15 days. They had erased everything and he had absolute control. I was so lucky, so fortunate that a friend of mine who had a server in California, I'd actually had his services. Then I called him up, Pratik, man, do you have that data? He said, let me check. He checked. He said, all right, I have I have your data. Yesterday evening's data I changed the entire, IP address to this and that, changed the entire hard disk, everything. And then overnight, I took the data. If I had not done then, believe me, friends, I would not have been standing here. I would have been somewhere, working for some company because it would jeopardize everything. So I think, cyber security, when we are having our hard disk and all the things, we are vulnerable. We don't have firewall. It has to be in the cloud. But cloud, how strong is a cloud? Because the cloud itself is not protected, they can also be hacked. So you have to be very careful. So I think, from cyber security expert point of view, you must do something about it. You must be very careful. Please look into this. This is some challenge which, one day will certainly, put into your dock. So never take this very lightly. When it comes to e-com listings and all the things, I'm sure there's an online business that has grown rapidly. What would have probably happened in 2026, 28, or 2030 happened in 22 or 21 just because of the pandemic. It taught us all how to do business online and how to get even chayos, teas to, anything and everything. 50 rupees product also you get online. So I think we must certainly get ourselves listed if you're not listed and ensure that, you be the front runner. Today, I'm sure 5G is going to come in anytime. Korea, China, and everybody, they are all experiencing. And the speed of 5G will be one HD movie, 4K, downloaded in less than 1 second. That is the speed. So can you imagine the ease of doing business? That will be the amount of difference that internet brought in, ushered in 1993, 94. Same difference you will see again in the internet challenge that will happen post 5G, which means the dynamics are going to change. So be everywhere in case if you can be on the online thing, and all the state and central government benefits. I mean, I don't know how many of you are aware of it or not, but state and central government give a lot of benefits to the employees, to the shareholders, stakeholders, etc. But what happens? We always think it is not for us. Sukanya Yojana is not for us. Ayushman Bharat is not for us. This is not for you, but for the people who are working with you. Hire somebody who can give a list of all the facilities and then map who are those people who are eligible, match them and give them that benefit. And it comes free of cost. But how many of us are doing? We have no time, or either we have no focus, or we don't even think about it as an activity that we should be doing. So I think that should be doing. And PLI scheme, I'm sure government has enlarged a lot of PLI sectors now. It's not anymore. And let me tell you, I've had personal audience with Honorable FM, Honorable Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal, and everybody. And whenever we discuss, they're saying, "Batao, batao, tell me what are the problem? Come on, let's tell." If in case you think that you are exporting and Singapore is playing some treaty here and there and there, okay, let me call immediately, and let me just challenge them. So that is a kind of receptiveness that these people have. So PLI scheme, if you are facing a problem where you find that you needed some support, I assure you, just move it to Commerce Ministry. It will instantly come. There are tweets happening. There are things happening. It's all working then and out. So which means ensure that your sector, wherever you are, if you're not getting the benefit, please try to ensure you can put in a request and say, all right, we need PLI benefit of that. And government is giving benefit like nobody's business. It is just not for fun. Let's say Honorable PM Sir said 20 lakh crore we are giving out as a package pre-pandemic that he was mentioning. Probably the whole 20 lakh crore did not get disbursed, but that's the kind of coverage that they have allowed for Indians to actually take. That's how the fiscal deficit from whatever 3.5 to 4% went to 7.5, 9%. But I'm sure because the tax buoyancy that is happening on direct and indirect taxes over a period of time, we will bounce back. And by 2024, I believe that fiscal deficit will be down. I'm sure if you are aware of it, current account deficit, we were on zero current account deficit. Now we have 1.5% current account deficit. That is nothing. Our exports have superseded and exceeded all-time high. And over a period of time, we have received this year $82 billion of FDI, which is the highest ever that in a post-independent we have seen. So that means India is at the front stage of the show. So we are absolutely good to go. Please do your GEM registration wherever, in case if you're not done. It's a great platform. There are issues and challenges, but it will certainly give you a great leverage in terms of the government buying that you should do. You can also present yourself into the modern trade boxes, big bazaars and so on. Big bazaar, of course, has challenges. I will not say that, but right from metro stores to so on and so forth, there are a number of such kind of thing. Please present wherever possible. Just explore these online opportunity. There are a number of companies who are coming here and setting shop here. I'm sure ICA is putting more than 5,000 crore rupees worth facility here in Noida. So in that case, please be present there. And I also like to tell that import data and export data of 5 years of 90 countries is accessible, available anytime with a cost. I know a friend of mine, Rakesh Shroff, he runs a company where actual data of Sushil Agarwal, when he imported, what machine he imported, what rate he imported, from where he imported, how he imported, how much he paid, how much converted, every data is available. That will give you a leverage for you to analyze and understand what is the competition doing, what is that you can be doing, who's getting what. And this data is accessible, available. We have been using it. That's what I'm saying. Why I'm saying all these things, because we are trying, I'm trying to be saying, all right, I am navigating myself through these turbulent times to become future ready. But if my fraternity, my friends are not ready, then what use is it? That means I'm living for myself. No, I do not want to do that. I want to impart the information and tell everybody, let's all be future ready, because ultimately my country, my nation, my citizens have to be future ready. And if that being the case, we have to take everybody on board. And let me tell you, in the cluster scheme, I'm sure we all read here and there, up to 10 crore rupees, 10 people, 90% grant happening. Up to 30 crore rupees, 90% grant happening. And I will get Grant Thornton, big consulting firm. His chairman, Mr. Vishesh Chandok, is a friend of mine. I have got about 6 projects done through him in Kerala, and they are up and running right now. So, which means 90% grant can be given for technology oriented or cluster scheme wherever you're facing common facility center. It is happening. I will connect all these things that I'm mentioning for every document, every statement that I'm making. I will validate. I will give you connect. I will ensure that you actually meet the right people. These are not mere statement. This is a document prepared by me by typing and in writing each and every word that I've done. So, and of course, I'd also like to tell friends that, when it comes to funds, we are anyway, because the repo rate, 4 to 4.9 rate has gone up. But otherwise, historically, we have had the lowest interest rate in the country for that matter. Sub 8% that, funds we normally get. I get at 7.15. Now the repo has gone up, so 8%, no problem. Dirt cheap. But nevertheless, if you want to raise funds, I can get you assisted on National Stock Exchange and Bombay Stock Exchange. I'm a speaker at those places. I will get you connected at free of cost. You don't even have to offer a cup of tea, and they will come and do everything and anything for you and ensure that you actually get your company listed. I got my company listed before I say this through NSE and BSE. We're on a main board right now. I'm an SME company, but I've had the privilege of doing that, and that has given me impetus today that I'm talking of becoming a major giant in the industry. We are India's top 5 company. We are amongst the top 5 companies today in the country today. We'd like to be India's number 1. So if that being the case, the access to the capital that you get and the kind of publicity or the kind of trust, the factor that you create is humongous. Don't miss out. In case we want, I will get them. I'll get all of you connected on that. And of course, lastly, 2, 3 quick things. One is, we are all aware of that, this is Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav 75, fifth year of independence. Do you all know that, I have got this information from Cultural Ministry. They said that, do you all know that you can actually use Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav logo on your visiting cards, letterheads, communication, each and everything, wherever you require, free of cost. You don't need any permission to do so. All right. Please use this. We are very proud to be saying that we are independent past 75. But are we exhibiting? Are we talking about it? या 15 अगस्त को झंडा लेकर के खड़े होते? That's not enough. Let's communicate effectively that we are, Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. We are actually having the fun of it. And another very interesting thing, I don't know how many of you are aware of it or not, but there's something called digitaltribute.n, which means in case you want to pay respect to your martyrs, the moment you pay, you just click on that digital tribute.n. Then, in the Connaught Place, there's a light which illuminate. Your name will be there. You will be sent an email and a video of what has been played there. So, it's a great thing for us to actually pay respect to our martyrs without any single penny cost. You don't have to you don't have to download any app for that matter. So I think you must do that. I'm working very closely with Jammu Kashmir government. Last week, I was with the Honorable MSME Minister Bhanu Pratap Verma ji in his office. We were discussing, I'm taking a delegation to Kashmir, and 30% in A block, that, capital incentive, 50% in B sector are being given. Beside rate of interest, capital subsidy, these that so many doles are being given. So we are trying to start, we are trying to bring Kashmir into mainstream in the country. Hamara desh hai. We need to bring it. We have had challenges. It's okay. We can do that. All of us collectively put an effort. I am anyway going to Srinagar. I am already doing business for past 8 years or so. And I would like to take a delegation along with me of all the like-minded people who would like to be part of it, just to explore. And believe me, government will accord the welcome. Not only we are expecting LG, even MSME minister to also accompany if need be, to take us forward and ensure that we are given that particular. And let me assure you, if you think there is no safety security, I'm so sorry. 22 districts, only 3 districts are hit by the by the terrorism. 17 odd districts are absolutely fine. That is how you have got. You don't get hotels these days. For Radisson is for 20,000 rupees because so much tourists are going there. They're all safe. There's no problem about it. And post abrogation 370 article and all the things are rapidly changed in Kashmir Valley. So I would certainly want you people to do that. And before concluding, I'd like to say to all my global friends that I manufacture plastic molded furniture. I've been doing this for past 2 decades. I have a certain amount of experience and expertise. I will ensure that globally, any country, anybody sitting in this room or anywhere in Nepal or Africa want technology, want in their project report, I will offer free of cost. I'm saying free of cost. I will not only give consultancy, I will get your project executed. I will ensure that it becomes successful, and all the flights, all the discussions, everything that I do will all be borne by me, not even a single cup of tea. I don't want anything. And lastly, I want to give my mobile number to all those people who feel that it's okay to connect with Sushil Agarwal. Possibly, if I don't know, you can enlighten me, educate me. Or if you want to know something from me, please feel free to do that. I will live for my nation. I will die for my nation. This is my commitment. This is my resolution. Right? So, so my mobile number is 9810039125. Again, I'll repeat 98100 39125. Please connect with me. I get up at 5:36 in the morning till 10:30, 365 days. I work. Aruna knows me very well. She's here. I'm so glad. I've been looking for her for quite some time. Aruna Nazani, but she's here. So I can only say, friends, I'm here to contribute. And you know why I'm doing this? I'm not a self-made man. I'm a product of this society, this nation. This nation gave me this right to live, to talk. So it's payback time to the nation, to the society, to the citizen, to the country. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Agrawal, for your valuable thoughts on the topic, and you have already prepared a list of things to support SMEs. You have been already doing a wonderful job in Indian SMEs for Indian SMEs. So, salute to your jajba that you have already supporting SMEs across globe. Thank you. So we have got another panelist who who is in the digital space. Sylvie just talking about digital transformation of SMEs. We have been already doing to digitize the SMEs to empower them because this post pandemic, what are the challenges the SMEs have been already facing? This is the most important part you need to understand. And as Mr. Agarwal has already talked about, SMEs are the one man show. They have been facing lots of problems, and post pandemic, sorry, digitization is the most important part to survive, sustain, and scale up their businesses. So I'm just inviting another panelist, Ms. Arundhati Mukherjee, to enlighten digital transformation for SMEs.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone, here and in the digital space. Um, this has been a topic of great importance over the last 2, 3 years. We have survived the last 2 years because not only MSMEs but even larger organizations have survived the pandemic because of digitization, and more digital transformation is becoming the way of business. If you see where we were 2 years back, digital transformation in the MSME space was much lower, and the recognition of digital transformation as a way to grow was much lower. We all learned digital transformation in a hurry in the last 2 years. However, I'll just go back to some of the basics before I really start. Why digitize? You know, digitization is it a buzzword? Is it real? Is it Zoom meetings and Google meetings, or is it beyond that? So let me just go back to the basics and say digital transformation can actually help you expand your market, improve your top line. It will improve your ability to deliver. You've got a lot of new customers. Are you able to deliver efficiently? Are you able to handle the larger number of customers? Digital transformation will help you deliver better. Digital transformation will also help you to deliver profitably. What's the point in doing business if you're not being profitable? Many MSMEs are focused on cash flow. I have spoken about cash flow versus profitability in many forums, and sometimes, most of the times, I see people nodding their heads. Yes, a lot of MSME leaders are today focused on cash flow. If I can pay my salaries, if I can pay off my debt, if I can, take a little bit of money home, then, I'm okay. But larger organization focuses on profitability rather than cash flow. So digital transformation will help you focus on profitability rather than the focus on cash flow that engages us, that takes up so much of our time on a daily basis. So if you look at it, top line, operations, bottom line, the three important part um, of a business is can be managed better by digital transformation. And that is the reason why it is absolutely essential that organizations look very, very seriously at digital transformation at its core and take the benefit out of digital transformation, be focused on ensuring that we are taking advantage of a very important tool. If you have seen the numbers, the digital transformation spend of large organizations, which was already very high, because these are organizations which are spread across multiple countries. Digital transformation spends of large companies where the base was already high, they have doubled. Whereas the MSMEs, and these are some OECD numbers, which is doing this study across the globe, whereas the MSMEs have actually not increased their spends on digital transformation. They have been talking digital transformation, but the maximum that MSMEs have done is created some online meeting models, online meetings, and they have done, they have taken their accounting to the cloud. They have moved from Tally to Tally Prime, and the rest of it, the ERP, they've got a website. Most organizations today have a website, so that has been the maximum digital transformation that is just skimming the surface. And why is it happening like this? Why is it, are the MSMEs not realizing the importance of them? That's not true. Everybody is realizing the importance of digital transformation. Those who were not 2 years back, they know today that digital transformation is essential to the business. So then where is the gap? The gap is that the the MSMEs don't know where to start, because we spoke about, uh, Agarwalji spoke about, one man army kind of a model. Yes, so that is the problem, that digital transformation has not been a focus, and because of that, MSMEs have lost a lot of money on digital transformation initiatives without really getting the benefits of a digital transformation. I hope that that rings a bell somewhere, that the people have spent lakhs of rupees on giving certain buying certain tools, but they're not able to use those tools properly. They're not able to maximize the returns, the advantages of those tools. And that is the reason why uh, you know uh, MSME digitization should become a bigger force so that people are coming and deciding to support the digitization effort of the MSMEs. Go for stronger partners and go for professionals who are actually doing digital transformation on a daily basis so that you are able to maximize on your spends on digital transformation. So, the other thing that I have seen is that, MSMEs are less ambitious. No, let me give you a reason for why that is something that I have noticed. If you compare startups, I'll not compare MNCs. I will, startups versus MSMEs. Startups have nothing, right? They're an idea, right? Would you agree that startups are an idea? They have nothing. However, they are ambitious. They want to become a unicorn. However, and they are going out and asking for help. They are coming to me regularly, and people like me, and saying, "I need help on this. I need," and they are getting that help from organizations. Whereas MSMEs are, and they are growing also. Whereas MSMEs have very strong technocrats, very strong operational, you know engineering graduates who have 20 years of experience. They have a big market. They have an established market. If you are selling chairs, for example, so Shilji is selling chairs, there is an established market that he has for chairs. So has many of you. You have an existing market, unlike a startup where it's an idea, you don't know whether that is actually going to sell or not, right? But here is the existing market. You have a strong person at the helm of the affairs. However, there is less ambition in terms of wanting to be a unicorn, for example. If you are selling 50 crores today, where do you want to be in you know 3 years time? Do you want to be 500 crores? Do you think that you can aim to be 500 crores? There are startups who are zero today, and they're talking about 4,000 crores in 5 years time, in 7 years time. Whereas here are SMEs who have 100 crores of business, and they're not talking about 4,000 crores, they're talking about 200 crores in the next 3 years. Do you does it sound familiar? So when you are ambitious, when you say that the second generation is coming up, many organizations we work with second generation, they have studied in US and UK and things like that. However, I have seen that organizations which are 200 crores think that they are very large organizations, whereas an Accenture, which is 40 billion, and where I come from, in my previous jobs, a $40 billion organization says, "Ki, we are just $40 billion," whereas a 200 crore organization says, "I'm 200 crores rupees." I'm not even talking about dollars, right? So there is a, if you talk to, if you see MNCs, which are large MNCs, large organizations, they are saying 40 billion, I'm only $40 billion. You see the startups, they say, I want to be a unicorn. I want to be $1 billion within, my valuation should be $1 billion within, 1 year or 2 years or something like that. Here are MSMEs who are contributing significantly to the development of the country. Accenture is there in Bombay, Bangalore, Delhi, etc. Whereas MSMEs are there in Shimla, they're there in Baddi, they're there in Vapi, they're giving employment at the hinterland level. They are not, bringing people to Delhi and reducing their dignity, right? People are living in small houses, running from pillar to post, managing in very little money, paying rent, paying, running around, putting their children in, you know not so good schools, not so good environment, and they're reducing the dignity. So the MSMEs are the real wealth creators of India. As long as the wealth creation does not go beyond the Bombays and the Delhis and the Bangalores of the world, of the country, we don't see the country to be developing so much. So the the challenge that I would put in front of an MSME leader is to be more ambitious. And there starts digitization initiatives. Be more ambitious, look for support, and you will get it. People are getting it. Startups are getting it. Startups don't have anything. They don't have a market. They don't have a product market fit. And yet they are getting supported. Here is the organization which has a solid product, which has a product market fit. You've got a pricing that is acceptable to the market, right? You are already selling. So you know that your customer is willing to buy at a certain price. You know your profitability. You have established channels. You know your dealer, you know your distributor, you know what kind of dealers get attracted to you, what kind of distributors get it. So you have a lot more than startups, yet you are thinking about 100 to 200, whereas somebody who has nothing is thinking about 0 to 4,000 crores. So here is my submission to you. Digitization can take you from 100 to 4,000. Think about 4,000. Don't think about 100 to 200. Don't think you have a small base. You have 100 crores. You are 50 crores. Growing 100% should not be something that you don't think about. Digitization can help you grow 100% every year and more. Take the right help, be ambitious is my suggestion to MSME leaders. I come from large company background. I have worked in organizations like TCS, Accenture, and CK Birla Group. And the biggest thing that there's nothing different in the people that walk the corridors of an MSME versus the people who walk the corridors in an Accenture. It's the lack of ambition and the lack of digitization. The CEO of a 50 crore organization or 100 crore organization walks into his office and everybody fans around as if the somebody big has come in. Whereas in Accenture, the CEO of a $40 billion organization walks past and you say, "Hi, Pierre, how are you?" So Pierre, who was the CEO of Accenture when I left, Pierre Nanton will walk in the corridor and I will say, "Hi, Pierre, how are you doing?" And he will ask me, "What are you up to? What are you doing today to improve Accenture's presence in the area that you are working in?" He will ask me in the corridor, he will ask me. They're so focused on growth. They'll catch hold of any senior leader at any point in time and do a performance review. 2 minute का performance review हो जाता है. And they will do it at the corridor. Whereas MSME leaders are, you know, leading a 100 crore organization and thinking that they are big, whereas large organization CEOs are saying we are only $40 billion. Have you seen where is Microsoft? Microsoft is younger than us. Have you seen where is Airbnb? Airbnb is younger than us. Google is younger than us. We are only $40 billion. Right? Startups are more ambitious. So ambition can be, take help on digital transformation. Do not put digital transformation on a back burner, or do not think of digital transformation as Zoom meetings and accounting on the cloud. The accounting on the cloud, the dashboards that are there in the accounting software today, can just the dashboards, if you manage the dashboards well, you will have on a daily basis what sale has happened, what uh, what have been my cost of that sale. You will know instantly at the click of a mouse. You open the dashboard in the morning, you know कि कल का सेल कितना हुआ था, कल का जो सेल हुआ है उसका कॉस्ट कितना था हमारा. What was the cost of sale? Did I actually make money or not? Was there any wealth creation or not? If not, what was the breakup of my expenses? Did I give more money credit to my buyer than to to my supplier. I gave 30 days credit to my supplier, and I gave 90 days to my buyer, to my dealer, right? So you'll have to match. You're losing money there. This is leakage, 60 days of leakage, right? So you have to have similar credit facility from your supplier as well. So these are the things that digitization will help you. You're working in one market. You can within 3 to 6 months you will be able to expand your market. You're working in one geography, you will be expand into 5 geographies using digital marketing. You will be able to automate your delivery mechanism. You will be Sushil was talking about quality control. Quality control can be you can use artificial intelligence to automate your quality control, right? So there are so many tools. Robotics, how do you automate your manufacturing process using robotics? And these are all today the MSME government schemes are all there to help you do all these things. So it starts from being ambitious and knowing where to take help from. Not thinking that I have to do everything, I have to do my learning. It is important for us to learn. It is very important for us to learn, but it is also important to take help from people who have worked on this for many years. We have been working with Amazon and Tata Nexark along with WASME to work on digitization of micro enterprises, sub 1 crore revenue, and we will be moving up also into small. And of course, as RO, we work on digitization of larger organizations, larger in the sense still in the MSME bracket. We work only with MSMEs up to 250 crores, but as a with Amazon, we have done a project to digitize and WASME, RO, and Amazon, we have to digitize micro SMEs, which is most of them are less than 1 crore of rupees of revenue in smaller cities like Shimla, Pathankot, Jamshedpur, and things like that. And what we have realized is that the entrepreneurs are so excited about the kind of digitization we have done, the simple first layer of digitization, for example, and it's been so innovative. For example, we helped somebody use inventory management, right? So inventory management, in my mind, was about looking at how much stock you have at different levels of production, right? At the raw material stage, at the produced level in the factory, in the ware, and how much in the factory, how much in the warehouse, how much with the dealers, how much is coming back as defective. This is what in my mind was inventory management. However, uh, I spoke to a couple of MS micro enterprises who were using inventory management. They were using it as a sales tracking tool. Something that has gone out means that is your sales for the day, right? I never thought about inventory management like that. Inventory management for me, it's a micro enterprise. It is not a, it's a, 1.5 crore. So that way, there's a lot of, innovation that you can do using tools that are, that are existing, and you can develop on that. But, I rest my case here with a submission to you that, uh, you know MSMEs need to be more ambitious for a person who has seen large organizations, the mega organizations, and who is now completely focused on MSMEs. The biggest difference I see is in the level of ambition, is the level of ask that you have of your organization. you know, and the way to it is not an impossible task to go from 100 crores to 4,000 crores in 5 to 7 years if you have that mindset. You will get them. Uh, there's a saying in Hindi. I've forgotten the exact saying, but it is said that when you have that mindset, everything falls in line. If anybody remembers, you can say that. But
जहाँ चाह है वहाँ राह है पूरी कायनात आपकी
right. You're right.
there is that.
Yes. So that was the word I was looking for. Puri kainat आपके
हिंदी चीज को शब्द पे चाहो तो पूरी कायनात उससे तुम्हें मिलाने की साजिश करती है.
yes. So that is what the it starts with you. You have to think that I can become a 4,000 crore organization, and then money, MSME schemes, opportunities like what we were talking about, and there are opportunities that are there in India and globally as well, and a big part of that is digitization and freeing yourself up of a lot of these and your team, your strong team is doing things like sales calls and things like that, and if you can avoid that through digitization, you will reach that 4,000 crore mark. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Mukherjee, for your valuable thoughts on the digitization process. So I'll be just inviting another panelist for this valuable panelist over here. Here's Mr. Preditman Singh. He's the director of IUM Business Solutions. He has been already doing to support the SMEs as well as the societies or large. So he'll be just putting his thought on this. Mr. Singh, please.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and congratulations on this day. So this is the day for SMEs, and as always, I had been fortunate enough for standing in the queue, and it's always good to stand in the queue because by the time your turn comes, it saves a lot of energy. So after listening to the golden words from ma'am, from sir, like sir, people from overseas, I do not have much to say because all the points have been covered. In fact, you all have added a lot to my knowledge also. I would just like to tell you a bit about IOM. So IOM is a 16 years old group, and I also come from corporates, big corporates. I had been a part of IBM, Bajaj. Then we had been into consulting. We had been into strategic expansions. We had been with startups since the time of inception. So startups with whom we had been associated with are now 1,000 crores, 2,000 crores. We still assist startups. There are quite a few VC organizations we are associated with. But parallelly, we never wanted to leave MSCs behind because they are the backbones. We also have another phase that is by the name of IOM Welfare Society, through which we had been serving our society for past 16 plus years now. Recently, we had been able to create a world record on 28th of May. However, it has been registered with India Book of Records only. The world record thing is yet to be there on paper. So we are waiting. So 28th of May, we had conducted biggest menstrual hygiene awareness drive. Same day, all the 28 states, 2 union territories, 56 locations, 123 events, 2,80,522 plus people touched. Very same day. The same was led by Nitika. So we had been complementing with both the faces, IOM Welfare Society and IOM Business Solutions, which is a unit of IOM Corporate Solutions Private Limited. So here we promote MSCs, and there we try and convert people to get into or become MSCs. So we have a campaign by the name of Next Innings, wherein we train vulnerable women, and jail inmates primarily, plus others also. And then they get into this and they become entrepreneurs. Now, what majorly we do is we impart them with business education, depending on the nature of business that they are with. We help them with government fundings wherever we can, a bit of what you do, digitization and AI adaptation programs that we run. We assist them with digital platforms, and we educate them about their importance. Then important is to showcase and position. So positioning is very, very important. Moreover, with this MSE is the problem, sorry, SME is the major problem is that they are not compliant, most of them, as sir also said. And so we take care of the HR part also. When we cover the ESIC, PF and all those things, we help them that look, for your nature of business, these all compliances are important. You need to get compliant. That is how we help them. The NGO thing, side by side, helps them with maintaining the POSH, as we said. So in the POSH committee, which was made in 2013 December, it came into force, when it was mandatory to have an NGO in panel and a female, especially, plus a lawyer. So we have everything in place. We have NGO, we have females in the NGO, and we have female lawyers also. Now we impart trainings on POSH related stuff. We get the compliances done. So it looks little impatient. So I believe I'm not taking much of your time. Okay. Anyways, so we already have time crunch. Let's not stretch it. All I want to say is let's work together. SMEs are the backbone. Maximum number of employment is being generated by them. They are the one who help people maintain that dignity, as sir said, because, or probably ma'am said, because they give the employment where the person is. They do not have to leave their places and move to other ones. So we had been struggling, and our focus is to bring in a revolution, at least in the next 2 years. Let's work together. At least we need your help. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Singh. So this is the time to play the video of our Honorable President WASME, because he has just faced with the technicalities over there. So Mr. Ankit, play the video.
Hello, everyone, all members of WASME, the board members, the vice president, the secretary general, Mr. Gyan Prakash, the WASME secretariat, the CEO, and the executive secretary, and all the SMEs. Let me wish all of you a very happy World SME Day. I am really sorry that I could not participate because I'm traveling. Right now, I'm in the taxi. I just landed in Cairo, and I am sure that we all know that the SMEs have had a lot of problems during the pandemic, and I would request WASME to collaborate with all the different stakeholders in order to continue its agenda to promote SMEs and find all ways and all help from different stakeholders in order to help the promotion of SMEs both locally and internationally. Let me wish you all the best, and I'm sure that we'll continue discussing about SMEs and all other issues in a later platform. Thank you and all the best. Bye bye.
Thank you, President Wasme, Dr. Janki, for your valuable thoughts on this World SME Day. Now, this is the time to just announce the WASME Global Icon Award. Recently, we have conducted this Global Icon Awards for the small and medium enterprises. Now, I'm just announcing the name of the awardees over here. Mr. Arunraj Singh is the founder of the SIS Tool Software. Sangeeta Singh Dev, Managing Director, Technology Connect Private Limited. Khalid Wani, Founder and Director, KWCG. Iman Jedi, Luxury Makeup. Dharam Spears Clinic. Vedant Palasa, Dr. Kheer Ahmad, The Page Point, Chahat Agrawal, Kalongi Ghosh, Vedanta Bhatia, Dr. Vajini Kotak, Ismail Fall, Sukhdev Singh, Ankit, Dr. Megha Sharma, Dr. Nishant S. Mehta, Dr. Kulin Vasant Raj, Dr. Navya Devaran, Srinath Rastogi, Devajani Mukherjee. So heartiest congratulations to them. On behalf of WASME, I wish them all the best. Uh, Executive Director Ms. Sampa Banerjee, she has joined, I think. She'll be announcing the way forward for this WASME. Sampa Banerjee, ma'am. Yeah, please.
Thank you, Mr.
Sorry for
Naik.
inconvenience. I
And
thought that
wish,
there was a technical. Sorry for inconvenience.
okay,
Please.
thank you, everyone. I mean, what to say after vote of thanks, but that's okay. Congratulations to all the MSMEs present here, our dignitaries, our vice presidents, the SMEs from all over the world, and congratulations on World SME Day. We at WASME make continuous efforts to discuss and build understanding of global innovative best practices to support and promote SMEs at various global platforms. So I'm here to announce that WASME with Ministry of MSME Government of India is organizing Global Spin Trade Conclave on export promotion of handlooms, handicrafts and technical textiles from 30th to 40th September 2022 at Kalivana Arangam, Chennai, Tamil Nadu in India. The conference would be attended by around 200 participants, including honorable cabinet ministers, ministers of state from different states of India, NSIC, KVIC, Ministry of Business, Enterprises, and other entities from MSMEs. So you all are cordially invited to participate in this conclave to support the agenda of sustainable development in handloom and handicraft crafts. Apart from that, we are also organizing our prestigious WASME International Conference, ICSME, in Johannesburg, South Africa, in 30th November to 2nd December 2022. This is our 26th ICSME, and detail you can visit website www.osiva.co.za/ICSME2022. I repeat, www.osiva.co.za/ICSME2022. and date is 30th September to 2nd December. So we will shortly share all the detail of the ICSME with you all, and we look forward to meet you all in South Africa. Thank you very much, and congratulations to all the winners, award winners here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ED ma'am, for your direction and valuable thoughts. I wish them all the best. I would like to just call upon Mr. IT Narayan sir, our Vice President, to share his vote of thanks and conclude the sessions. Please.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I would like to extend my greetings and best wishes on the International SME Day today. It has been a pleasure to be here, and I found that none of us, everyone was very attentive to the discussion. The discussions were very fruitful. I would like to extend my greetings and thanks in this. It has been wonderful to listen SML Zilur Rahman, the Vice President WASME from Bangladesh. I still recall my meeting with him way back in 2017 and 2013. 2013 we were in Durban on International SME, and he was also there. In 2017 we had our international conference in Delhi, which was being inaugurated by Vice President of India. I would also like to thank Mr. Masibi, Mr. Rajendra Malla, the other present speakers here in Delhi, Sushil Agarwal ji, uh, Madam Anuridhi Mukherjee, and Mr. Man Singh. It was really very, very thoughtful, a wonderful discussion you all had. And I would say that personally, I am really delighted to listen, especially Mr. Agarwal and Mrs. Mukherjee. The thoughts were wonderful. I really think that they would definitely go in a long way for the ones who were present here and the ones who were attending this meeting through the digital mode. Lastly, I would like to thank and congratulate Team WASME who have done wonderful job to organize this. Special thanks to Mr. Laik and his team. It has been a wonderful arrangement and a very good agenda to talk about. I would again say thanks and good evening.
Thank you all for joining here. Thank you for your valuable and precious time to support this initiative on the occasion of World SME Day. Thank you all.